Well, I haven't done a case review since I reviewed the Cooler Master Masterbox 5 a few months ago. And to be honest, I'm pretty excited. My sister actually came to me the other day and told me she was ready for a big girl's computer. And after a few hours picking out parts with her, we decided on the Thermaltake View 31 TG RGB. Let's find out what gave this case the win here on East Coast Tech. What's going on, guys? Andrew here with another episode of East Coast Tech, and today I'm doing a review of Thermaltake's View 31 tempered glass PC case, now with 100% more RGB. This is one of Thermaltake's more premium offerings, and as such, comes with a few more accoutrements than the original View 31, or most of Thermaltake's other case offerings in general. Right off the bat, we're greeted with not one, but two tempered glass side panels. What makes these guys different from most tempered glass panels on the market today is that they don't mount on the case with the four traditional thumb screws like most other manufacturers like to implement. There's actually a plastic bezel on either side of the panel to allow for more easily handling, and they screw into the back like a traditional side panel would. One thing I would have liked to have seen here, however, would have been captive thumb screws. This case does go for about $130, so it's definitely not a budget offering. Little things like that would have given the case a more premium feel. I think Thermaltake missed an opportunity on here, but I digress. Continuing our tour on the outside of the case, we see that the front bezel continues the glass motif. Well, except that it's not actually glass. It's actually a blacked out acrylic, not unlike the front bezel on my Cooler Master Masterbox 5. It's pretty dark, but any LED fans behind it should have no problem shining their light through. On the right side of the bezel is a filtered air intake to feed the fans behind it as well. Wrapping up with the outside, the View 31 comes with dust filters on both the top and bottom of the case, with the top also having mount points for up to 3 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans or equivalent radiator sizes. Take note that the bottom of the case has pretty large feet as to allow for more ample airflow underneath as well. As for I/O, we have an audio and mic jacks, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 2 USB 3.0 ports, as well as a standard power and reset buttons. Taking the side panels off leaves us with a grander view. Get it? As what this case truly has to offer, starting from the rigid steel construction to the powder-coated black interior, I believe Thermaltake did a really decent job trying to make this case a premium product. The case does feel a bit light with the glass panels off, but nothing that concerned me. We've got the RGB edition of the case here, which comes bundled with 3 140mm RGB ring fans from Thermaltake's in-house line. Also included is the LED controller for said fans, as well as standard case accessories. You may have also noticed this weird bracket mounted in the front of the PCI brackets. As an added bonus, Thermaltake also included a vertical GPU mount for use with an sadly unprovided riser cable. I do appreciate the versatility here, but also would have liked to have seen the cable included. I wouldn't even have mind paying an extra $10 for it, rather than me being forced to remove it since it's kind of useless as it is. Moving on. Those who are hoping for a power supply shroud or basement may just as well stop watching this video at this point, since the case doesn't have one. Which actually, in my opinion, is kind of like expert mode PC building. I mean, what's the point of glass panels if the bottom fourth of your case is going to be hidden by a shroud? I mean, just saying. We also have a 3-bay drive cage, which ruins any chance you thought you had at putting in a front-mounted radiator. Psych! It's completely removable. In fact, you can remove the hard drive cage to reveal a pump bracket underneath, which can be repositioned along the bottom of the case to suit your needs. And it gets better. for added modularity, or what I like to call no part left behind. The drive caddies can be removed from the drive cage and then mounted on the rear side of the case behind the motherboard tray to give you back that space for drives that you had originally. And that's what I call having your cake and eating it too. Onto part compatibility, up to ATX motherboards will fit in the case, along with up to 200mm power supplies at the base. You can mount up to 360mm worth of fans at the front and the top, with a combination for 120 or a 140mm fan at the rear. Also, graphics cards of up to 270mm in length will fit just fine with the cage installed, with the clearance opening up to 420mm when it's removed, which you should totally do. Also, I'd like to note that if you do get the riser cable and mount your graphics card vertically, you will be met with only 50mm of clearance from the glass panel to your graphics card in that orientation. Luckily, that about wraps up the numbers portion of our review here. How about we move on to my impressions, comments, and concerns? Overall impression is that it's a great case for $130. It's a decently sized ATX mid-tower with a lot of features and included accessories for the overall price tag. Ultimately, it's nice to see an offering like this from Thermaltake. I think they've long been regarded as a bargain brand, and it's nice to see that they can still offer a case like this which hits so many of the requested checkmarks from new and accomplished system builders and still maintain a decent price. But that's not to say there isn't room for improvement. The drive cage is clunky and the caddies are made from plastic, which is like an off-gray color and matches absolutely nothing in the case. I do like that they can be mounted vertically on the back end, but at that point, why not just drill holes for mounting drives without going through all the trouble? I'm not really sure what that's about, but hey. I'll also point out here that 3 is the total number of drives that you can mount in the case, both in 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch varieties, not including motherboard M.2 support. Overall, I feel that Thermaltake did go the extra mile with this case, from the spectacular interior paint job to the firm yet flexible rubber grommets for cable management. All that's left is to build it, but sadly I'll have to leave that for another video as we're still acquiring parts for my sister's build. Give this video a like if you liked it, get subscribed so you don't miss any more content from me. I will link the case down in the description for anybody who caught the RGB fever from watching this video. This was Andrew with East Coast Tech, and I'll see you next time.